Fellas, I know we have gone on the record to say that we were fine with the creation of robot strippers. Here's the thing, I'm still okay with it. However, the news that was breaking this past week about Halo implementing generative AI is incredibly concerning. You've already probably seen many of your creators react to this news. And although we don't necessarily play Halo day in and day out, at one time, many of us here lived and breathed Halo. It was my game, man. Every day consisted of two things: AFK farming in RuneScape and playing Halo multiplayer, man. What a time. But a report that comes from Rebs Gaming, who is a trusted reporter in the Halo space, is who broke this news. So a couple questions I wanted to answer today. Number one, are we to believe these headlines? Number two, what is the likelihood of Halo, or the next Halo game, becoming AI-infested slop? And number three, why the hell was this show ever greenlit? Let me just say, I just recently watched the first episode of the Halo show. For whatever reason, it happened to be on Netflix. I said, hey, it can't be that bad. I watched it. Lord of mercy, what the hell happened? Now, as many of you probably already know, last year was already a major shift for the Halo franchise. Following the poor reception of Halo Infinite, 343 was rebranded to Halo Studios. Nothing like good old repackaging. Now, some have stated the reason for this name change was because the name 343 was associated with the decline of Halo games. But this wasn't just a name change. No longer would Halo be developed using the Slipspace engine, which is essentially a heavily overhauled and updated version of the original Halo Blam engine. Instead, new Halo titles would now be created using Unreal. Halo Studios would also be undertaking multiple new projects and researching future technologies for upcoming Halo games, with a program titled Project Foundry. How poetic. Emphasis on future technology. Well, it's just been over a year since this announcement. So the question is, what does Halo Studios have to show for this? Well, this week, October the 24th through the 26th, is the Halo World Championship. Halo esports teams will gather to compete for glory and a grand prize of $1 million. But it also marks the end of an era. This is the last official Halo esports championship. Now, don't be alarmed. Halo esports isn't going away. There will be some sort of celebration of Halo's 25th anniversary next year, and sometimes beyond 2026, the official HCS will continue, most likely after the launch of Halo's newest game. Now, here's the thing. During the first day of the Halo World Championship at 1 p.m. Pacific, we are set to receive a Halo Studios project update. Now, there's been a plethora of speculation about what will be shown, everything from Halo 7 to Combat Evolved Remake, and even a dedicated Halo multiplayer game. Now, sure, it's possible all three of these projects are currently being developed. However, based on a tweet from Halo's community manager, it's highly likely that only one of these will be revealed on the 24th. I guess the question is, which one? In my opinion, I think it's very likely that Halo CE Remake will be revealed at the Halo World Championship. Looking back at the New Dawn announcement last year, assets from these three environments could all be utilized to flesh out Installation 4. I mean, come on. The Pacific Northwest, the Cold Lands, and the Blight Lands. Halo Studios is blatantly laying the groundwork for Halo CE. And frankly, if you were to restructure an entire studio, rebrand it, and begin working on a totally new slate of projects, what would you rather ship first? A remake of an older game or your next flagship title? This rebrand was heavily marketed as a return to the roots of Halo. And look, I could be completely wrong, but I have a feeling this means literally going back to the franchise's roots. Also, the playoff team microtransaction bundles includes the original 2001 Needler model. So yeah, I would be very surprised if the Halo CE Remake wasn't the project announced this week. Now, according to the leaked information, Halo Studios isn't making this on their own though. Virtuous, the same company responsible for the Oblivion remake, has been contracted to co-develop the CE Remake. Now, similar to the Oblivion remake and the Halo CE remaster in years prior, the Halo CE Remake will run on a hybrid engine, combining both Blam and Unreal Engine 5. Now, you may be wondering, what's the point of swapping engines in the first place if you're just going to go back to the original? The explanation is rather straightforward. By keeping parts of the Blam engine, the original physics and game feel are preserved, but the graphics are updated using Unreal. Granted, this is a very oversimplified explanation, but interesting nonetheless, and actually makes me wonder if we could do it here at Bungie in their Tiger engine. But that's for another day. Now, since this isn't just a remaster, we should expect more changes than just graphics. It'll most likely have sprint and other modern features, but no multiplayer outside of the campaign. Outside of that, we don't have much else to go off of. We'll just have to wait and see how many creative liberties Halo Studios has taken with the rendition of the original title. Now, I know many people here are going to say, but Cross, what about Halo 7? Maybe. I just don't think it's likely, guys. We may get a teaser, but given the recent rebranding, the 2023 layoffs, which by the way directly hit the campaign and narrative teams, I'm personally not holding my breath. Now, what's much more likely is the announcement of a new Halo multiplayer game sometime in the next year. Rebs Gaming Gaming and Halo Leaks both corroborated information that a Halo multiplayer is currently in the works at Halo Studios. Now, this would be a standalone live service multiplayer game. Now, the launch dates of Halo multiplayer and the Infinite campaign were already disconnected back in 2021. So to be quite honest, guys, I don't really see a reason why you couldn't just make multiplayer an entirely separate game. Now listen, Halo fans, I hope you get everything you want. Truly, I want all of these projects to come to fruition, but the reality is a bit more bleak. Reports in July suggested that morale at the studio had been very low. Microsoft had laid off 9,000 employees, which of course impacted Halo Studios. One of the development projects mentioned earlier was also in crisis, and if that wasn't bad enough, leadership more recently at Halo Studios has been leaving. Last month, Chief of Staff Melissa Boone quietly left Halo Studios, and a few weeks ago, Glenn Israel, who is the art director for Halo Studios, resigned after working on Halo for 17 years. Glenn's LinkedIn post announcing his resignation was also extremely cryptic, reading, "As of today, and after 17 long years, I'm officially no longer contributing to the Halo universe." There's little more I can say for the moment, though I intend to share this particular story in its entirety when it is absolutely safe to do so next year. In the meantime, I have a message for anyone and everyone who needs to hear it. I know that the state of our industry seems dire, but never forget, you are free to choose. No illusion of security, nor promise of wealth or fame or power is worth trading away your health, your dignity, your ethics, or values. And no one can force you to. Stay strong, take evidence when necessary, and find where you belong. As always, I'll be here if you need to talk. Now let me just say, guys, that's like the last thing you want someone to say when they're exiting your company. That's code for shit's bad. Granted, he can't talk about how bad it is, but the leading theory right now that's making headlines could be a personal quarrel with leadership regarding the increased use of AI in game development. As we mentioned earlier, rumors have been circulating that generative AI has been implemented into all facets of game development inside of Halo Studios. Now, I need to be very clear on this. Rebs Gaming has made it abundantly clear that he is currently investigating how AI is being implemented, so nothing is truly confirmed. However, I would like to offer the counterpoint that we've already seen a similar story play out with another Microsoft-owned studio, King. Yeah, those guys, the makers of Candy Crush. Originally under Activision, but again, that's now under Microsoft. These guys were tasked to implement AI into their workflows, and many of those developers were soon replaced by the AI tools they helped create. Now, this comes as no surprise, especially considering the massive circle jerk happening in the AI space right now. In 2023, Microsoft invested $10 billion into OpenAI to power Microsoft Azure, their intelligent cloud service, which now generates almost half the company's total revenue. Another $33 billion was invested in Nebuous for third-party data centers and access to a whopping 100,000 NVIDIA chips. And that's just scratching the surface here, guys. Microsoft has also partnered with NVIDIA and BlackRock in a $40 billion deal to acquire AI-aligned data centers. Microsoft also plans to spend $10 billion on CoreWeave, another AI cloud computing platform. There is so much money in hardware and software being thrown around between NVIDIA, OpenAI, Oracle, Microsoft, Nebuous, CoreWeave, Intel, AMD. Guys, the list goes on and on. Does anybody remember when NVIDIA used to be a gaming company? Man, that's practically an afterthought now. When you're dealing with this amount of money on this scale, everything is pushed in the direction of that money. It's why you see NVIDIA GPUs heavily relying on frame gen to increase performance. I don't think it's a stretch to believe that Microsoft is going to be taking a similar approach in their gaming sector, forcing overarching corporate policies upon their subsidiaries, even at the cost of real jobs. Xbox had its most profitable year yet, but still laid off a significant portion of its labor under its umbrella. Even Glenn Schofield, a former COD director, very recently expressed his fears regarding the COD franchise. Quote, "I worry about it immensely. I really do, because what's happening to Gears of War? Where's Halo? You know what I mean? Unfortunately, once you're assimilated by one of these companies, I think you take on some of their traits. I'll give you one selfish example. I hate doing this, but since I left Sledgehammer, none of the games have been very good. I mean, the last one, 2023's Modern Warfare 3, was a 50. For a director to speak out so boldly and cast a franchise he used to direct in a negative light, that doesn't happen too often. It speaks to the current state of the industry that all of these developers, once free of legal risk, will be willing to air out their dirty laundry and pull back the curtain on why modern AAA gaming just isn't in a good spot. Now, since Rev's initial reports, there's been pushback on this narrative that generative AI is being used in Halo games. In a tweet from Jez, one of the executive editors at Windows Central, Halo is not using generative AI in its game dev, art assets, etc. For its next game, Microsoft has no mandate on studios to use generative AI for games. I'm sure it's being used for emails and shit like that, but they are not making a Gen AI game here. In the case of Glenn Israel, he wrote some follow-up posts diving into depth on employment rights in the state of Washington, suggesting that perhaps his leaving the company had nothing to do with AI, but rather a bad experience with HR and/or leadership at Halo Studios. However, Rebs has further pushed back on this narrative, citing an old job posting for a senior AI engineer at 343 just before the swap to Halo Studios. Listed in the role's responsibilities is design and implement scalable and efficient solutions that leverage generative AI and ML augment in-game experiences to improve how we make games. So again, while not confirmed, I think it is incredibly likely that Halo Studios could be using generative AI for game development. I do want to mention this is all speculation though. We'll see how it all shakes out. But considering what happened with King here recently, a studio that created AI tools that ended up replacing its developers, I'm still gonna say it, guys, I don't necessarily feel comfortable asserting that AI tools will never enter Halo Studios. Even if Microsoft isn't pushing it now, and even if it's not generative, we must ask ourselves, is this Microsoft simply saying this is just the tip before they plunge into all of us? No, I know that's a bit doom posty here, but hey man, just ask yourself, what do you think the world's gonna look like 5 years from now? Hell, I'll even cut it down to 2 years from now. Things are changing and they're changing fast. At the same time, it takes one AI goth mommy to come out and every gamer alive will fold. Hot damn, we're weak. Hell, I literally watched stormtroopers mess around for hours and it blew my mind that this was AI. This is the future that major corporations are really trying to invest in. From the rumors here with Microsoft and the amount of money they're investing in it, to the databases that are being built all around the country, to hell, even EA talking about artificial intelligence and the ability to generate content on the go. And now, lo and behold, they're going to be taken private. Fellas, it's all around us. Now, whether or not this is going to make a better or worse product for Halo, I don't know. I guess at the end of the day, the real question is, how is this going to affect strippers? Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching. And as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.